April 30th is the deadline to file your 2018 taxes. It may seem like a long way away, but a few missing documents could really set you back. Dale Jackson is here with an income tax checklist. So helpful.
Well, the way I see it, we're about in the middle of tax season. So you're onto it. If you're waiting for the end, you may find out you're missing certain documentation, and that could really set you behind. You'd be in a pile of papers, and you find out you're missing, one little T4 or one little tax credit slip, and everything could go off the rails before you make the deadline. So there's four basic things, little checklist at this point. Things you should have, documentation you should have is number one is your T4 slips. That's from your employers, for salaried employers. T4s, you should have had them by now. Your employer had until March 1st to get them to you. If you don't have them, talk to your employer. Make sure you get them. That has all the important information: how much you made, how much is taxable, how much you've paid. Also, important things such as what you have contributed to the Canada or Quebec pension plans, your company pension plan contributions, employment insurance, Canada pension plan payments, and all that, and also deduction certificates. Remember, you rushed to meet that March 1st RSP deadline. You will now deduct that. You should have all your documentation in the mail by now. It should have been there by March 1st as well. So remember, you have to have those also for your registered education savings plan. Also, any registered plan, you got to have those certificates, and you have to let the province that you're in, territory, and the federal government know. Also, T5 for investors. The T5 is interest and dividends. That will be a list of what you have received during the year 2018 in interest payments on investments you have or dividends. Don't forget, eligible corporations are dividend tax credit. You can get a credit for that. Eligible usually means Canadians. If those are investments...
T5 is provided by your financial institution.
Thank you very much. Yeah, they should. And if you don't have it, you should be in touch with them. Important thing to remember, registered retirement savings plan or your TFSA, it does not apply. In those particular cases, you're taxed in the RSP later on fully, and you're not taxed at all in the TFSA. And finally, the tax credits. Now, it depends on who you are, what you do, and what you've done in 2018. There are several tax credits available. You might want to check the CRA website, see which ones are available. No one sends those to you. You have to keep the documentation. The important thing about tax credits is it's like a dollar for dollar as opposed to your deductions, dollar for dollar off your credit. But do have a look at what is available. There may be something that you don't know, usually relating to healthcare, education, things like that.
Childcare.
Childcare, of course. The big one.
I file in 2 countries, so I try to get started early. And if you don't have an accountant, find an accountant friend just to go over the checklist. Just make sure you've covered everything.
Isn't your dad an accountant?
He was a tax lawyer, which, I suppose that could be helpful if I get into some kind of legal squabble, but it's not all that.
You file one of those either country incorrectly?
I got to write that down. Get to know John's dad.
All right, CRA website, you said.
Yeah, go to the CRA website. Check out my blog if you forgot all those things, and just go through that tax checklist, because if you find yourself up against a deadline, everything's going really well until you get to that point where you're missing some documentation, and then it's freak out time, and you may not make the deadline.
Thank you so much. That's Dale Jackson. As he said, his blog available at bnnbloomberg.ca.